What is up, YouTube? This is Freshwater Aquatics, and I am just going to give you a rundown on all the products I use. Fish, water, chemicals, and other stuff. Now first I'm going to start with feeding my fish, just because it's about that time and I just want to get it out of the way. I use San Francisco Bay. I think they're great products. My fish love them. I have brine shrimp, bloodworms, San Francisco Bay Company with frozen foods. Does come in a lot of varieties, including bloodworms, brine shrimp, and one other or a couple others, and they do come in different packages. One of these little gumdrop packages which my family likes just because they're a little smaller and you can use a little more of them. But I typically use 2 bloodworms for every brine shrimp in both of my tanks, and a few pellets and other fish foods what I'll get to. They're pretty easy to get out of the container. You just push them in. Some are harder to get out than others, but so I just put a little of my room temp or water in the cup and stir it up every so often, and it gets the job done and melts it pretty quickly. A better thing to use is a little tea capsule, so all this bad nasty water goes out, but you have all of the good fruit in. I wasn't able to use that right now, but so I'm gonna feed them real quick, and you can see that just for a glimpse. And all my fish love it. So San Francisco Bay, great company. And I love the little capsules just because they're just so much easier to use than like big flat pieces of bloodworms that you have to break off yourself. But all my fish love them, and they work just the same as I would say any other frozen food, but just better packaging and pretty inexpensive, but very nice fish food. So with my water conditioner, I'm going to start with this is a great product. I mean, of course you have to use water conditioner, but this is the one I first found and used, and I have bought 2 bottles already from them. Great stuff, definitely works. I mean, I wouldn't be showing you 2 if it didn't. And then we have the CO2 booster. It's almost empty. I have used this it's coming up to a year now. I haven't noticed too much of a change with this brand of CO2, but I don't dose my tanks regularly, so I can't say it doesn't work, but I can't say it has helped me. Now this is the Clarity. This is supposed to help if you have a dirty tank. This is supposed to help everything just come down so you can easily siphon or gravel back the gravel. But I have not seen that this works at all. It was inexpensive, so I mean it's not a waste of money, and I do use it sometimes. I do think it helps a little bit, but water changes is probably better and definitely less expensive route. Now this is Seed. I picked this up a while ago. It's pretty inexpensive. This is supposed to help when you're introducing new tanks or changing a layout. This is supposed to help your fish so they don't get stressed out as much. This has worked. I've noticed that sometimes my fish don't spaz out as much as if I'm scaring them, or not purposely scaring them, but moving across the tank. This definitely works. I do put a little bit in my tanks. There was a little capful just to measure stuff. Now next is aquarium salt. Now this is not the marine salt that you see in the ocean, but it is definitely a good thing to have for a freshwater hobbyist. Now this helps with a bunch of gill funguses and ripped fins, so this just helps fish in general. I mean, it is pretty inexpensive, but I believe every fish hobbyist should have it. I have used it on mostly my quarries just because a BB puffer was abusing some of them in the tank, so I did use those. Now this is by far one of my favorite products. This is Neutral Regulator. It comes in a powder, and it basically makes your tank perfectly 7. Whether you have a high pH or a low pH, it makes it perfectly 7. Now Memphis Tap is usually good pH, but that makes it perfect. Now next is New Life Spectrum pellets. They do come in New Life Spectrum. These pellets do come in 2 sizes, I'm thinking. This is the bigger size, and they do have a smaller size. And smaller sizes, I think it's better, but both the same. Very nice company, and all of my fish love this food, or the fish that can eat them. As I said, I bought the bigger ones, so they're not as good as the smaller ones, but same food, very good. Next we have algae wafers. Now I have to say, keep these away from any kind of animal. Not because it hurts them, it's probably good for them. But I have had a dog who's eaten the whole package nearly 3 times. so addictive to dogs and fish. They're pretty good size. I think they come in 2 sizes. I bought the larger one, and I have used these a lot. I mean, I do use some vegetables and stuff, but this is very nice. It's packed with a lot of good stuff in it, and it's not just for algae eaters like plecos and flagfish and gobies and other type of algae, solo algae eating fish. I mean, I've seen pearl gouramis eat it, corridors eat it, cherry barbs eat it. I mean, every fish in my tanks really just pick at it if they can. Now next we have these 2 bottles of fluval cycling stuff, which I did get in the kit with my 2.6 360 degrees fish tank, with which houses my baby puffer in, and I've made a video about that. I have not used any of these just because I've used the same water from my other tanks and it works just as well. So again, I can't say this is a bad product, but I can't say it is a good product because I have not used them. I mean, they might work for some people, or they might have killed fish for others. I don't know, but I have not used them. And I might review them later if I do use them. Now we have Tetra test strips, which I have to say are pretty good. A little inexpensive, but I just cut them in half to duplicate everything in the container, and it works the same if you cut them in half. Very nice. I use these readily and very accurate, I have to say. I mean, they are expensive, but not as expensive as the water kits. Water kits work better, but again, more expensive. Last but not least, we have these Tetra, fish flakes. Very nice off-brand fish flakes. And people might just think this is for beginning hobbyists, but whether you're a beginner or a expert on fish, this is a very nice fish, and it's always good to give your fish a variety of food. As I have showed you, I do use a lot of different foods. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I did have one more food that was a hikari food stick, but I ran out of that and was not able to get it again. Hope you've enjoyed. Once again, this is Freshwater Aquatics, and any comments, please comment them down below.